Good morning, Molten Scholars. Welcome back to another great day of fun learning. Hope you had a great weekend. Okay, I want everyone to stay safe and wash those hands frequently. All right, so today is May 4th, and we are going to start with week 7, day 1. Today we will be working with our Frayer vocabulary chart. And we're all familiar with that. We've worked with it many times before. The only thing different today is that we will have a new set of vocabulary words. Okay, these words are words that will relate to the article that we will be reading for this week. Okay, the first vocabulary word is filament. Say that after me. Filament. Good. The second vocabulary word is patent. Say it after me. Patent. Good. The third vocabulary word is laurel. Say laurel. Good job. Okay, the next vocabulary word is carbon. Say carbon. Right. And the last word is prototypical. Say prototypical. Good job. All right, you got it. So, we're going to use our Frayer vocabulary chart today to define those words, to name characteristics of those words, to give non examples, and to give examples of each one of those vocabulary words. So let's look at the model chart that I've made for you today. Okay? Ta da! Here it is. So I have an example here, and I'll model for you what is expected for today's assignment. Okay? So your Frayer chart in your packet, and I did create a chart for you, or several charts for you. They are generic forms, and the only thing you would have to do is to create your headers for each chart. Okay, the first one is given for you. Okay, so the headers, when I say create your headers, I mean to type in the first box, the header here is definition. So in this box, you will give the definition for the vocabulary word that is listed above the box. The second category asks for facts and characteristics. So you would just type in facts and characteristics. That would be the header for this box. The box below the header is examples. So you will type in examples in this box. Okay, and then the last box, the header is non-examples. So you would just simply type in your header, non-examples. Now, after you create your headers for each box, you're going to fill in the information that those headers are asking for. Now, let's look at the first one that I've done for you. The vocabulary word is filament. So in the definition box, I wrote the part of the light bulb that produces light. That is the definition of the word filament. Okay? Now, let's go over to facts and characteristics of a filament. Okay, I wrote that one characteristic is it is a unit, a fine wire. Excuse me, it is a fine wire. Okay, now when I say fine, when I use that word fine, that terminology, I'm referring to something that is thin. It is a thin wire. Okay, the next characteristic I wrote is that it is inside of a light bulb. That's a characteristic of a filament. The next characteristic I wrote is produces light. Okay, that is a characteristic. Okay, and then the last word that I used for filament is current. Current. So, current, the reason I use that word is because it has to do with the current that goes through the filament wire that helps it to produce light. So that word is related to how the filament produces light. Okay, so that would be a fact or characteristic. Now, let's go, let's look at my examples. Okay, my first example is, what does that say? I'm looking at it backwards, so I'm gonna have to peep around. Okay, an example is a glow. Okay, so when you think of light, you think of glow or something that shines. So that's an example. Okay, and then my second example, when I think of filament, I think of a light bulb. So that is a prime example, right? Great. So now let's go over here and look at the box of non examples. Okay, the first thing I wrote is has no function. Is that true that a filament has no function? Of course it isn't. So that is why it is in the non-example box, because that is not an example of a filament. Okay, let's look at the second non-example. It says a large wire. Is a filament a large wire? No, of course not. We said that a filament is what type of wire? Correct, a thin wire. Okay, so this is how we're going to work our Frayer chart today. We're going to create our headers for each box, for each vocabulary word, and then we're going to fill it in. So let's get busy, molten scholars. I'll talk to you soon. Bye bye.